The Canadian media just read Donald Trump for filth, and every American had better pay attention. Welcome to Occupy Democrats, I'm David Reddish. Of the deluge of headlines, embarrassing comments, policy reversals, and the lies this week, two important developments need addressing. The situation in Ukraine and Trump's tariff war with Canada and Mexico. For more on the mess that is the war in Ukraine, not to mention the mess Trump has made with our European allies, see our other videos here on the channel. For the moment, let's focus on tariffs. Donald Trump, over the objections of virtually every economist in America, including his Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, has insisted on slapping Canada and Mexico, the two biggest trade partners of the United States, with 25% tariffs. Initially, Trump had tried to implement the tariffs in early February. After discussions with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, Trump decided to pause the tariffs for a month. It's important to note that Trump got no real concessions from either leader. They agreed to take actions that they had already negotiated or put into effect under the Biden administration. This week, the tariffs went into effect again, and the financial markets went crazy. Have a look at Trump giving a press conference about the tariffs going into effect on March 4th. Pay special attention to the market watch in the corner of the screen.
But so we're going April 2nd, but very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs.
And it went on like that. The market plunged more than 2,000 points in a matter of days thanks to Trump's announcement. It lost all gains that it had made since November of 2024, and that's to say nothing of the international reaction. Here's what Prime Minister Justin Trudeau had to say about all of it.
Foreign Affairs Minister yesterday called all of this a psychodrama. How do you characterize it?
Thursday.
The tariffs went into effect for exactly 2 days before the Trump administration backed down. At the time of this writing, they remain on pause until April 2nd. Lord only knows if they will go into effect then and if we'll see a repeat of this week's chaos. Trump again is claiming that Canada and Mexico backed down, but in reality, he is the one that backed down. In fact, it looks like Trump had already lost the trade war. Though the U.S. agreed to pause its tariffs, certain retaliatory tariffs in Canada on American imports remain in place. So, in other words, Trump didn't just get screwed, he screwed American consumers too. Now, Canadian news outlet CTV has additional insight into the tariff fight. Take a look.
Good evening. More tariff whiplash tonight. Donald Trump backtracking yet again on day 3 of the continental trade fight and pausing tariffs on some Canadian goods until April 2nd. But the start-stop approach has thrown markets into a tailspin. Another day of triple-digit losses and deepening anxiety for North American businesses who don't know how to plan. You've got some new reporting today on yesterday's call between the Prime Minister and U.S. President that was described as heated. What can you tell us?
Omar, according to a senior government source, that contentious call yesterday included the U.S. President using a profanity. However, in the last 2 minutes of the discussion, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick floated the idea of a tariff pause from their side. Details were worked out by Lutnick and Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc, leaving the Canadian team fairly confident they'd land where they did today.
So there you have it. Trump is the deranged and demented lunk we all knew about, and it looks like Howard Lutnick is the one that had to step in and set policy. The stock market has recovered some of its loss, though economists now predict a high likelihood of increased inflation and recession. And Trump managed to do it all in just over a month. Though he still wants to blame Joe Biden, there is not a reputable economist of any political persuasion who would say that Trump's tariffs didn't deserve the lion's share of the blame for this mess. There's a temptation also to see Lutnick's involvement here as something as a relief. He did get Trump to hold off on wrecking the economy completely, at least for the moment. But frankly, I don't find it encouraging at all. This is further evidence, not just that Trump has no idea what he's doing economically, but also that he doesn't have the capacity to understand. Trump's mind is declining as fast as the stock market, and people like Howard Lutnick and Elon Musk are the ones actually setting policy for the country. Trump has no interest in doing the job of a president beyond looking like he's in charge. And at this point, he probably couldn't do the job even if he wanted to. Thus, the speculation and worry over Trump's declining mental abilities continues, and it only gets worse. The real question the Congress and the Trump cabinet should be asking is not if Trump knows what he's doing. It's how much longer they will stand aside while a man who is clearly mentally incapacitated wants to dismantle the United States government and wreck our economy. Time to talk about impeachment and the 25th Amendment. How much damage must we suffer before our elected officials act? And speaking of profanity, I have a few words I'd like to share with Donald Trump. This is Occupy Democrats.